Welcome everybody to Area 111 live stream. The title for this morning's live stream is SITREP, Giant Voice, Inauguration Infrastructure, Overload, and Infiltrated. I'll be doing checks real quick, checking both the live stream platform on Rumble and YouTube, and then we'll be getting into the information. There's a lot of things going on. Many of them are have been kind of like not really overlooked, but the overload and the amount of people that will be there today, far as the inauguration events, as they go on. I'd like to remind people on both Rumble and YouTube that are listening to this live stream today or as they come in. The mayor of Washington, D.C.'s office basically approved multiple permits for demonstrations, or I guess you could call it free speech protest in a way. But one permit alone authorized a crowd of 25,000 people. Now, I do believe they cut back on that, but still there are multiple permits for basically demonstrations, or maybe we should call it, instead of the Summer of Love events, the Winter of Love event. So we know how those turned out in many of our cities around our country. I won't get into the background of how all that began on a lie as well. And a lot of people don't even understand why, the real reason why people were enraged, and they don't even understand the counterfeit aspect of the counterfeit. Okay. The counterfeit aspect of it, and the reason why law enforcement were contacted, and they basically, it doesn't matter. These people are going to do whatever, take every opportunity they can. A lot of it's just to make money, whatever. And I understand people, have to take care of their family, and at least meet their survival needs that their family has, or even as they themselves have. But I'm not going to get into that. The fact is that, the inauguration event in and of itself is going to have so many people, that the infrastructure, whether or not it is planned to be overloaded or whatever, or certain aspects of communication is going to be negatively affected. I would expect that. I would expect that you would have possibly power outages. Now, we're going to go through this stuff a little bit more in detail. As I basically set up here, I'm looking at both displays. Now, I am live streaming from a different location, okay, and a different method this time than I normally do. But hopefully the audio seems to be pretty good. Hopefully we don't have any interruptions. But anyways, of course, we all know in conjunction with the inauguration of the incoming new president, Donald Trump, there is also Dr. Martin Luther King Day, right? It's a holiday. So it's a government holiday, right? And a lot of businesses out there also basically respect the holiday, and they they give their employees a day off too. But this is in conjunction, of course, with the riots. Okay, let's just say things the way they are. They, how we were told they were mostly peaceful. I would plan for the worst and hope for the best. In these type of situations, that's not acceptable for people in leadership, especially law enforcement, metropolitan police department, Capitol Police, the National Guard that's going to be deployed. You think about it, there's going to be a total of about 8,000 National Guard troops. Overwhelmed. If anything happens, basically overwhelmed. If anything happens, okay, based on infrastructure, there's no backups planned for especially communications. That's going to be very, very important. I mean, this is a massive endeavor. And I've heard, okay, we've been planning for a year. We've been planning for a month, months, plural, right? We've been planning for this but did anybody plan for the excess of people that are there? In many of those demonstrations, they're going to be peaceful. There are going to be people out there that are just voicing their grievances or whatever grievances they may or may not have. And it's like an open menu. Where do we see that before? An open menu. Remember the jury instructions? It's like the jury instructions. Here's an open menu. You can pick from whatever grievances you have. Here's your sign. Here's your equipment, whatever. This is a prime opportunity for infiltrators, bad actors, right, to take over some of these free speech demonstrations or whatever you want to call them, or however you want to package that. But we know that there's bad apples in everywhere you look. So we're going to get into this a little bit more in detail as everybody is getting up and getting ready to go to work today, that have to work today. A lot of businesses out there are still open and going to work, and so I'll be right with you. Well, I'm not yelling. I'm just trying to speak up where people can hear me properly. But anyways, yeah, people are heading to work. Dark 30. It's not really dark 30. Like 3:30 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning. 5:00 is pretty normal time for a lot of people to get ready and head out to work, and maybe drop by a I don't know, Waffle House or something, and have breakfast before they go into work. It's kind of. But anyways, happy Martin Luther King Day, happy Inauguration Day for everybody out there. I just wanted to get on top of this and wish everyone a great day, safe day. Of course, everybody has to plan to stay warm. Because the temperatures, there's another factor involved is the temperatures. But anyways, SITREP and Giant Voice, Inauguration, Infrastructure, Overload, and Infiltrated. Okay, so I didn't put in the Giant Voice. Now, many of y'all may or may not know I served in the United States Air Force for 21 years, and I retired from active duty about 23 years ago. So one of my positions was far as internal look goes, or giving briefings. Reports flight superintendent for this 9th Air Force commander at the time. Okay, that was one of my primary duties, and the unit deployment manager for 609th Combat Operations Squadron. I was the NCOIC of one of the largest armories, small arms armories, and in I would say a main NATO country. So, anyways, that's neither here or there. There is some professional experience and qualification behind what I'm about to talk about today. So, anyways, I hope people just listen to it, and if there's any adaptations you could make as far as your security details, or add to your protocols or whatever. Today's going to be quite different than a lot of other different operations. As far as security goes, checkpoints goes, you name it. And I talked a lot about. Let me switch over here to YouTube. I'm only basically able to view one. I can't split screen it on the devices I'm using now. But anyways, hopefully we can swap back and forth here without any type of disruption. So anyways, if they are, I'm going to basically just use common terms or whatever. Hold on. Now, in many cases, like what I'm, the topics I'm talking about tonight, a lot of it's going to be kind of like generic. So, or to this morning, I should say, it's not tonight. Of course, for those that burn the candle at both ends, I just heard that the audio is working good on YouTube. So, getting that set up here now as I speak. Live chat's turned on. So, if anybody plans on making just say hello. Hello. Hope everybody's doing great this morning. And I hope if you're going to get involved in either officially or there just as a citizen to enjoy the inauguration, and all the events that go on, I hope you have a very safe day, and you have a very, very memorable day for years to come that you can share for your family, maybe your grandkids, your kids as they get older. Um, you know, I love to see all the people that took their families, their children out to these events. Uh, the rally, the rally location. It was really, really great experience. I'm sure for a lot of people that were there in person. And like I said, this is going to be a very memorable. It's going to have lasting memories, I think, and good memories. And my, of course, we in God we trust. We have to trust God. We have to pray to God that God stops any evil, because there's a lot of that evil out there that works nonstop, 24/7. Just that's just the way they are. Those people that are involved in evil, and it's sad in a lot of cases that this this should be for everyone. You know, making America great again. Where has that become? When has that become some type of evil phrase? In the Bible it says, "What will be good, what will be bad, and what will be bad will be good." Right? So, you know, my bad. I mean, all these things that it's kind of what's bad. What we normally traditionally, far as I don't want to get into the preaching or lecturing, but what we deemed immoral now is good in a lot of cases, right? And I mean, in a lot of aspects. So I won't get into that. But anyways, let's kind of hone down on. I'm going to hone down on one a statement from the former director of the National Security Agency, General Paul Nagasone, and at the time he was also the commander of Space Command. Now, he basically stated that they can basically oversee or conduct surveillance and kind of counter certain things, but they have limitations. They cannot operate over our cyberspace, right? The way it's set up, far as surveillance goes. I did have a place card holder video over on the Rumble live stream portion before we went live stream. The place card holder video was of Colonel Phil Waldron. Okay, far as the network goes, infrastructure goes. Now, far as that briefing goes, okay, so we kind of like to merge together what Colonel Phil Waldron talked about and General Paul Nagasone when he talked about the infrastructure, where the enemy has basically already infiltrated or infiltrated the invasion and came in with the invasion. They're set up. They're ready to go. For them, it's just another operation. And I like to remind a lot of people out there that go, well, what are you talking about? Being oblivious to what's been going on all these years. And far as regime change operations, remember these people are professionals at regime change operations. They're professionals at PSYOPs operation, which includes propaganda, of course. They have people on their payroll. They're being paid to basically read their scripts. I mean, they're word per word, even when they try to change things up a little bit and add a different word here or there, it's the exact same message. And the same people that are basically disseminating that message, we know who they are for far as most. We heard actually the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, talk about wrap-up smears. We know where this stuff originates. We're not stupid. Okay, so let's get back down to this, the threat of we have the enemy infiltrating our infrastructure. The enemy can infiltrate our infrastructure. They're already doing it. That's nothing new. It's not breaking news. So we should expect some pushback, if you call it that. We should expect resistance. Far as the missions or mission objectives that these military units have today to keep this thing safe, make sure the process is secure. Remember, we're dealing with possible communication overload, right? Far as satellites go, there's definitely going to have to be, far as the net. I mean, the net goes, far as the infrastructure, far as our grid goes. We're looking at the overload potential that many people may or may not have basically planned for, like backup power sources to basically charge and keep your communications going. Just like everything out there today, it's tech driven. So you have to have the grid. You have to have a backup, source, and expect the worst, but and hope for the best. I mean, that's kind of a cop out, right? In a way. I mean, the people that are professional in overthrowing other world leaders, I mean, entire governments, entire countries. This is like looking at the back of their hand. This comes naturally to them. Going out there and slandering people and defamation, you see that every day, right? That's all part of the PSYOPs operation. We can get into specifics, and you know what I mean. People out there are intelligent enough to understand what I'm saying. We're going to possibly have major issues with communications today, major issues possibly with power. Everybody's hooking up, right? Hooking up generators, you name it, right? Tapping in to the grid. And like I said, all the deployment of all the military people, and they're running certain aspects of the security that is needed for such an event. But you think about the opportunity, even with peaceful people that are there just to enjoy the activities, they can be infiltrated too, because the crowd size is going to be enormous. But even when the official inauguration, even though it's indoors, it's going to be televised. A lot of people have already traveled for the events that are going to take place afterwards. Like a lot of people are still there for the rally that they plan to have yesterday, and the dinners, and the I forgot what they call dinners and all that stuff. I really enjoy to see that. And earlier in the day, I really enjoyed to see people bring in their children, and having their children, being part of it, and just beautiful families. And I mean, it touched my heart. I mean, it was really, really awesome to see that, people smiling and laughing and enjoying themselves. That's what I wish on everyone. Myself, that's what I wish on for everyone. But again, prayers do work, and we have to continuously pray for the God that puts a hedge of protection around us, all of us, to include, of course, President Trump and his family and his incoming cabinet and administration, and all the official functions going on today, and people that are there just enjoying the event. But also, there's another side of this. There's multiple things going on right now. So, whether that is intentional to basically divide up the security and provide basically weaknesses in the security that we have, or which will help influence breaches of security, I don't know. Basically, there's some official statements that individuals or organizations have put out. One such statement is that they don't have any basically organizational type threat or nation state type threat, but they're already kind of like it's a cop out. They're already saying, well, okay, well, there's one nation state that in particular by the name of Iran. Okay, so that the people, that's a go-to deal, right? Okay, well, if anything happens, that's the culprit. Look, it's like, just hours after 9/11, right? They already had the investigation was already wrapped up. We know who's responsible, right? That kind of thing. Remember? And the only thing I can say is just check out Building 7. The implosion of the 47-story steel frame building that basically imploded and came down on its own footprint. That's all I got. That's all I hope. I just, for everybody else that wants to dismiss everything, right? And by the way, this is not being disrespectful to those that lost their life that day, and the families, uh, that still are basically. How can you not be mourning still, or think about it? I mean, there's probably not a single day that goes by that they don't think about the loved ones that they lost, that we lost, the Americans we lost, our first responders, you name it, that we lost. Innocent victims, men, women, and children. Think about that. There's not a single day that they go by and that they don't, that they don't think about it. And then you have events like what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania. Corey giving the ultimate basically sacrifice to basically, from my understanding, he dove to basically use his body as a bulletproof vest to keep his family safe. Think about that. He gave the ultimate sacrifice, if you think about it, for us all. You think about it, the man is definitely a hero. He's a hero in my book. But that was a needless death. Needless death. That could have been prevented. This is what we're talking about, things that can be prevented. Well, that's the main, pretty much the main theme of this morning's live stream. Expect these things to happen. Now, I keep hearing posse comitatus this, posse comitatus that. You can't do this, you can't do that, right? The National Guard in D.C. that I don't know the general's name now. I used to know the one back in 2016, but they have a mission. Their mission is to keep everybody safe, to ensure that inauguration goes off smoothly, whether it's indoors or outdoors. Every contingency should be planned for, and I know they've been planning for this for months, but let's go back to Paul Nagasoni's basically disclosures to I believe it was a Senate subcommittee when he was questioned. After hindsight, perfect vision, after the November, he basically touched on The enemy has infiltrated the infrastructure. The enemy has infiltrated the infrastructure. They have basically no control over that. And they are basically, if you will, have their hands tied behind their back far as monitoring communications via satellite regarding our country. Okay, our grid, our communication network, you know, CISA, and believe me, it wasn't the most secure in U.S. history. How could you actually, before any investigation's done, how could you make a statement like that? CISA, remember? That's infrastructure. How can you make a statement? It's like, okay, before any investigation has started, they already got if you would, the lone wolf. They're not tracking any groups out there that pose a threat. Really? I think a nation state put out a hit on the former president and to be our new 47th president of the United States of America. You know, these are legitimate, verifiable threats. So how could you make a statement like that? There's no organizational threat, and they basically they have a, couple of. Is that the script that they're told to read? Now again, crooks had a communication device with encrypted apps on it in foreign languages. Two of the languages I'm pretty sure I remember when I reviewed this was the German language and the Belgium language. So now take that as you may, but how come they haven't decrypted those apps yet to see what the communications were? See if there was planning. There were multiple individuals involved, accessories. Now, one of the big problems I have with that is I do believe that they cremated the remains of the body before any type of further autopsies were conducted, far as, okay, DNA for one, right? Okay, and what about psychotropic drugs in his blood, in his system? Did they do any tests for that? There was a lot of tests done far as, I won't mention the individual, but fentanyl came in, methamphetamines came in, and I don't know what other drugs basically were in the person's system. But anyways, I will. There's no need to go down that, and it's not a rabbit hole. It's actually the facts behind that situation. That to this day, the Mockingbird media or legacy media, however you want to identify that certain media, basically, and the organization or agencies that's controlling those companies to put out their scripts. So anyways, yeah, we have a lot of problems with that. and you know, basically putting out this propaganda that basically leads to a lot of evil, a lot of hatred and anger, pent up anger. And it's very hard to undo that because, when these people are basically, I call it victims. DC basically as a whole, I hate to stereotype all of DC, but you think about DC. DC does not reflect the heartland of America. That DC does not reflect the actual will of the American citizens in majority. The American citizens in majority, we do have the majority, even though it doesn't look like it many times. You know that 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 age old theme, divide and conquer, right? Divide and conquer. Back in the days, these they would basically put up statues or what do you call it? Scarecrows or whatever, make it look like these are real people, right? In many aspects, in today's 21st century technology, they make it look like, they have the bots that go in there and subscribe, and these huge mega platforms, they probably don't have much more than, viewers than a lot of channels like my own back in the day when I had thousands of viewers for a single live stream, and then deplatform me multiple times and then shadow ban me. I don't know how many times. So basically, I'm used to it now. People actually believe I left. I stopped in my own way, continuing to serve my country that I love. In many ways, they thought, well, he quit. He quit. He just left. What happened to old RH? We used to listen to that guy. I didn't quit. I'm still here. I'm still stronger. I don't know about all that, but up in the jets. But anyways, yeah. So try to focus here. Remember, this is still kind of impromptu, so hopefully y'all bear with me. And I'm gonna be switching back and forth for the next few minutes and checking out Rumble. But again, now they would probably sue the mayor's office, but I don't, DC I'm talking about, right? When they basically, if they didn't approve all these permits, but tens of thousands of demonstrators, let's just use their own official term, demonstrators, tens of thousands, multiple permits have been issued for the demonstrations to this day. And a lot of these infiltrators, they're going to use Dr. Martin Luther King Day of all days. Think about Dr. Martin Luther King. Think about what he wanted. He didn't want all this division. You think he wanted people basically protesting out there with a certain type of hat that represents a certain type of feature on a female? Do you think Dr. Martin Luther King would support people, celebrities making statements like something similar to? Before I say it, by the way, this is a Law and Order channel. I am not trying to facilitate criminal activity, hostile, violent activity, lawlessness. We're talking about unlawful criminal activity. I do not support it, period. Now, in the aspect of self-defense, sometimes you have to use violence to counter the evil, okay, from succeeding. People are going to say, "Oh, well, that, I haven't thought about that. Well, I haven't thought about that." Throughout some of the main training aspects of the security details, we have a lot to look back on and the failures. Remember President John F. Kennedy, for example, and Robert F. Kennedy. And, I hate to keep on. I mean, that's horrible to basically bring those up over and over again. It's horrible because, I have memories of that too, even though I was a small child. Later, my great grandmother gave me a flag of liberty. That was the flag of liberty is the flag that we had. Basically, I was flying after our World War II victory. That was the flag my great grandmother was still flying on November 22nd of 1963. Now, the flag of liberty only had 48 stars. I don't know if many of y'all basically can relate to that or remember that, but remember Hawaii and Alaska had not become states in our country yet, right? So Hawaii and Alaska were still out, right? So after the victory of World War II, my great grandparents, let's see, that'll be my great grandparents. Their son, my great uncle, or my uncle, right? Great uncle. He wasn't my great great uncle, but my great uncle, he served in World War II. He was in the Battle of Midway, and basically he experienced what we call what do you call that? There's a type of sickness. They call it shell shock back then, right? But he was on the ship he was on the Battle of the Five Sitting Ducks. Battle, I guess you call it Solomon Islands. The Battle of the Five Sitting Ducks is what I refer to a lot. But anyways, many of his shipmates, he saw the Imperial Japanese fleet attack their positions, and we lost, I think it was 5 destroyers. Okay, in that was the worst naval defeat, I believe, in U.S. history. The Battle of Solomon Islands, we call it the Battle of Five Sitting Ducks. I won't go into the aspects of why it's called the Five Sitting Ducks, but yeah, my great uncle, or my uncle, great uncle was, let's see, great uncle. Man, I get all mixed up with this. You know what I mean? So it'd be my grandmother's brother. So that would be my great uncle, right? Not my great great uncle. So my great, let's see, my great, man, I get it all mixed up. All those greats involved, right? I'm kind of trying to remember the name of the ship. Vincent's, that's the name of the ship. But anyways, it was sunk, and he basically watched his shipmates being blown to pieces. I think one of his good friends, he signed up, and they joined my uncle, great uncle. I just want to say, call him my uncle. He lied about his age, and he got into the Navy. without the permission of my great grandparents. But anyways, yeah. So he lied about his age. He changed his first name a little bit from to basically a different name, and he got in at 17 years old without the permission of my great grandparents, and he served valiantly. We actually my grandmother had to basically apply for. I think she got a lawyer, and they got applied for the manifest to get the name that he went by when he was in the Navy, serving for the Navy. But anyways, he's on that manifest, and his name was on there, and because you had to get, for any help, he needed. He had PTSD. We call that now post-traumatic stress syndrome. But anyways, they called it shell shock, and the horrors of actually watching the shell strike, his ship, and seeing his shipmates just basically being blown to bits. That's not how that story ended, by the way. They basically had to afloat, get this debris in the water and float on that debris as they encountered a new threat. Basically sharks pulling down some of his shipmates as they were floating on the debris, right? Very horrible situation. And to survive that all and basically tell us his experience, not me at that time, because I was too young to be hearing stuff like that, but they would relate that to my mom, and my mom or my grandmother would relate that to myself, right? So, but anyways, long story short, the flag of liberty, we call it, was a 48-star flag after the victory of World War II that my great grandparents were flying over their home. Now, on November 22nd of 1963, and what happened there, they took that flag down and never flew it again. They took the flag down later on when I don't know how old I was, but my great grandmother gave me that flag, and 48-star flag, and I wish I kept it, but as I have the memories of it, and that was important. It's just a piece of material. A friend of mine in the Air Force kept asking me if he could have the flag, and kept asking me and asking me and asking me. I relented and just went ahead and gave it to him. But anyways, I have other official things as far as mementos. I actually have the declassified document because it was a top secret document of the manifest of the USS Vincent that was sunk during that battle. So anyways, with that said, I don't know why I got off on that topic, but anyways, if y'all don't know, the flags, I guess, were supposed to be flown at half staff for Jimmy Carter for 30 days, I think, ending January 28th. Y'all have to check on the date to be specific, but I believe January 28th. So those that are flying their flag today, they should raise it to full mast, because there was a government basically kind of like an order that you will fly the flags today at full staff, and at sunset basically return the flag back to half staff to recognize the former President Jimmy Carter. Okay, so that's for 30 days now. Hopefully I got all of that right, but I think today would be a great day to go out there and raise Old Glory, and basically honor the flag, but don't worship the flag. That's my dad basically told me a way that basically would help us with some people that think, okay, well, they could just burn the flag, right? Whatever, show disrespect to the flag. But yeah, we're not worshiping the flag, by the way. We're honoring the flag. The flag represents our country. And like with anything, we're not perfect. Our country, our founders were men and women. They weren't perfect either. We all make mistakes, but it represents our country. All 50 stars on that flag, right? And all the other meanings of the flag. The white and red stripes, the 13 original, reflecting the 13 original colonies. Now think about that. Thinking about it, it's beautiful, right? The Republic, right? Each star is its own sovereign state. Think about the way our founders set this up. Each star is its own sovereign state. Each state has its own capital, right? And each, not only is there a U.S. Constitution, but there's state constitution as well. How many people actually typed in a preamble for and the state that you live in and read your own preamble? I think it's very interesting to read the preambles of each state, all 50 of them. I mean, what is the most common denominator in the preambles of all 50 states? The preamble of the Constitution basically gives a summary of the founding of each state as a sovereign state. It's basically a summary of the state constitution, right? And to me, it's beautiful. Something I respect and honor. But the most common denominator in all the preambles of all 50 states, or the state constitutions where it's not written exactly in the preamble, is Almighty God. Almighty God. You hear sometimes people get choked up, you know what I mean, and their eyes start to water. But we have a country we should be proud of, no matter who you are. And I definitely believe everybody should be taking part in helping to make America great again. No matter what aspect of life you have, to make it every aspect of our country great again. Security, you name it. Safety, what do you call it? Successful, wealthy. You could say wealthy. There's a term that I would rather use than wealthy, but prosperous. Prosperous. You could have a job that you really love, a business that you really love, and you're not a millionaire, right? You're making a good, honest living, and maybe sometimes you're just getting by, but you love your job, you love your company. Hey, that's the American dream too. You're living an American dream. And the homelessness and all this stuff, we got a lot to work to to correct all this homelessness. It seems like an easy solution. Now, what about all the diversion of all this money going to like environmental restoration, all the diversion of all this money? We're talking billions, hundreds of billions, if not into the $1 trillion or into trillions, plural. That's just blatant theft. Getting while the getting's good, right? Well, I think a lot of that stuff is going to stop today afternoon. I guess right at noon or 12:01 p.m., right? 12:01 p.m. I guess things are going to start to change for the good. Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? See, I can't, I don't like to be around negativity very much. I'm believe it or not, a very optimistic person. Even when sometimes times are bad, what I always listen, prayers. If all else fails, we have to keep turning back to what the common denominator is of our country. That's Almighty God, turning back to Almighty God. When everything else fails and you've been trying to break through those walls and communicate to try to help keep us all safe, prosperous again, and that kind of thing, and you can't even get one word out because of the controllers, right? The control freaks. And I hope this message gets out there and people take it. Yeah, you can take everything with a grain of salt, but please don't take the recommendations of keeping people safe today. I mean, we're talking about men, women, and children now. I don't know. You can bundle up a child. But, you're talking to people living up in, Minnesota, Duluth, and all these places, very, very cold. The children go out. They have to go out. They have to dress for school, and some of them walk to the school bus, or whatever, and that kind of thing. And they bundle up pretty good. You have to bundle up your children. And the parents are, they bundle them up before they send them out the door, and a lot of times they walk them to the school bus or they drive them to school. You still have to get bundled up while you're going out there, taking the snow or ice off your windshield, de-icing, whatever, and all the stuff. I used to have to do that. And I was stationed in Washington State for a while up there by Seattle and overseas. Man, I tell you, you get up there on the North Sea area and those winds, man, those winds and the wind chill factor is basically. Now, I haven't been to Siberia, haven't been to Alaska, but in some of those occasions in those places I served in, you might as well say it was Siberia, but or close to that. Anyways, never been to Siberia, never been to Russia, so all those false accusers out there accusing us day and night, right? What happened to that gang, right? What happened to that gang that was accusing our brethren day and night, right? Of doing things wrong. Oh, he did this, he did that, right? They were cast out, weren't they? Cast out. So, anyways, communication is very important, of course. Now, if there's a change, like a last minute substitute, right? And your chain of command, or they're replacing certain people you don't know, I think you're going to have to follow those people and make sure that they're doing the right thing, that their law enforcement itself is not infiltrated. We got a lot of bad apples out there everywhere you look. I mean, I have enormous respect for people that serve in the armed forces, veterans, that have served previously. They're working in other positions, our three-letter agencies. I'm not talking about the salt of the earth people out there every single day. That includes first responders, law enforcement, wherever they're at, local, state, and federal level, I have the utmost respect for honest, law-abiding individuals that work in those agencies, to include the Central Intelligence Agency, okay? The CIA, as we say in short, to include that as well. National Security Agency, okay? Department of Homeland Security. Man, you have a great opportunity right now to serve your country, to help ensure everything is safe. If you got a question, ask it. What if we lose our communication? Do we have a backup? That's one of the first questions I'll be asking. What about if we lose power? Do we have a backup? Do we have enough fuel for the backup generators if we have to go to a off-grid power source? What about the satellites? Satellites go out. What about the networks being basically taking on so much activity that overloads the networks? We thought about that? Is there a backup plan? What about communications from one checkpoint to another, or to up the chain of command? What happens if you lose your communication? There's a breach in your checkpoint. Do you have an alternate means of communications other than smoke signals? You know, he a wise guy. Wise guy, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a wise guy, right? You don't want to hear my GPA when I was a junior in high school. Now I went to English summer school so I can graduate on time with the rest of the people in my class. And I got through that. It was kind of like a piece of cake. I don't even remember actually cracking a book that much. We all just sat there, right? I was going to make a comment, but I was basically going to refer to myself. Leave no man behind. Leave no dumb guy behind like myself. Please don't leave me behind, man. I don't want to go another year. I mean, it's Florida. I'm about to graduate in the beautiful sunshine state of Florida, and I could be going to the beaches, doing my thing. The last thing I wanted to do, being a young, vibrant teenager, was sit behind a school desk and getting splinters in my, you know what? You remember those old wooden desks, those old wooden seats? That was the last thing on my mind. Of course, leave no dumb student behind. Please don't leave me behind. And I admit that my senior year, I got all B's. I think I literally got all B's. I didn't get maybe PT. I think I got a 1A. You have like quarterly report cards that come out, right? It was quarterly. So I had like a 3.0 average. I went from like a 1.9 average, that's like a D plus, right? D plus or D minus. I think it was D minus, right? I went from a D minus to a B, right? Remember, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. As God is my witness, I'm telling y'all the truth. I wasn't the brightest cookie in the jar because I was into sports, and I love sports. Fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't make the qualifications for certain sports, but I still loved them. I played in the Little League, Lowry Park. I remember going to Lowry Park and playing baseball. Pee Wee, I had T-ball. I remember T-ball. I kept hitting the tee instead of the ball, right? Smacking that tee, right? Well, it would have helped if I wasn't like 2 foot tall, you know what I mean? Like, if I have to, they said level swing, Well, when I had to hit the ball, I had to swing my bat at an angle. I didn't have platform shoes, cleats on, you know what I mean? So, I had to swing at an angle, and I kept hitting the tee instead of the ball. But eventually I got it worked out. So, but anyways, those were the days, my friend. And went on from Pee Wee League to Little League, and then to Major League and Little Leagues. And there's, I think, the Colt, Pony and Colt. I couldn't go there. I was actually working already. I worked, what do you call that? The job class I had. I forgot what they call that. Work experience, yeah. I went to school for a half a day, and then my senior year, I think pretty much a large part of my junior year, I was working. And so half the day I get out, in my senior year, I could go to work, and that's what I was doing. But anyways, my true education, when I signed up for the Air Force, I had the opportunity to go to college, or, they were going to support me to join the military if I decided to do that. So they basically gave me permission, with my parents' signature, to join the Air Force at 17 years old in the year 1978. So before I was 18 years old, I was on active duty, and I turned 18 years old in basic training, Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. So anyways, those were the days, my friend. Those were the days, my friend. And I had many very enjoyable experiences, met a lot of friends, and and there's some experiences I had, that weren't so enjoyable. It just came with what I signed up for. So anyways, with that said, as a report flight superintendent for the 9th Air Force Commander, internal look, that's all I'll talk about, or internal look. So communications is basically, what is the basically the most neglected communication skill, I should say. I'm going to put it as neglected, or a skill that needs to basically, that people need to work on the most. Listening skills. Have you ever talked to anybody that you can't even get a single word in, and when you start talking, they talk over you? And that's an example. That's just one example. I'm not being rude. I'm not judging people. I've done it myself, because the reason why this might be a cop-out for some, but it's not really a cop-out for me. There's certain things that, that we'll think about, and you get these quick thoughts, right? That'll pass through when you're talking about a certain subject. If you don't stop the other person and relay that, you might forget it, and you might not be able to circle back, right? As Raggedy Ann, I call her. used to kept referring to circle back. Remember, Raggedy? Okay, I'm being disrespectful. Press Secretary Jin Saki. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but so anyways, yeah, you might not be able to circle back and basically provide that information because that individual may or may not know that. And it might be one of those dots they needed to connect to have a successful mission or operation. So OPSEC, okay, is very important. So anyways, we know about the threat, and the only thing I can think about is we have to keep praying. Keep praying, right? Keep praying, and that there is divine intervention and when needed, because think about Butler. I mean, people can just dismiss it, although there were some glass fragments or whatever, make something up, which is ridiculous. Sloped. It was sloped. We can't do our job. It was sloped. Really? There's going to be a lot of rooftops that are basically going to be probably have ice on them. They're going to be sloped too, right? Of course, safety is very, very, but people, they're going to set up and they're going to have to have, rotations and, don't think about dehydration. Okay. You're not thinking about dehydration. There's snow out there on the ground and everything. And, you're like 20 degrees that you're not, but when you bundle up with all that gear and you start being I'm talking about physically active, especially the heavy hitters out there, fast, expeditious teams, you can start sweating. You can lose a lot of hydration underneath all those layers of clothing. You know what I mean? Listen to me. I'm sounding like your dad or something, right? Come on, Dad. We got a job to do. And one thing is really neglected. A lot of people, they might look at a shawl or a shawl as being okay, it's feminine or whatever, or gloves, whatever. Gloves are kind of like a nuisance. They always were to me. The nuisance. I like, when you're grasping something, I don't like, something between my hand and that's artificial. But, make sure you wear, hey, those, what do you call those hats you pull over? Some guy out there, anonymous. I won't go into this individual, but, what a psychological warfare operation there, man. Don't worry, we got everything in order. He's not going to be there or whatever. He's not going to get in. What? Really? Is anybody monitoring that guy's communication? Why is he wearing a Space Force's hat, right? Space Command hat? Or trying to make it look like, it's part of the psychological warfare operation. One of those operations out there go, okay, everything's going by plan. Don't worry about anything. You're just watching the movie. Get some popcorn, get some peanuts, whatever, and your favorite soft drink or refreshment, and just watch the show. It's all just a movie, right? It's all just a movie. It's all just a movie. So in reverse of that, to counter that, right? They have their anonymous individuals, right? Oh, anyways, thinks he's slick, huh? You know, thinks he's slick. Diversion tactics, right? Oh, anyways, follow protocol, right? Follow your protocol. If anybody wants to change your protocol, escalate it. Don't be afraid. Use your chain of command. Escalate it. You don't like that answer? Keep on elevating it. Elevating it. I say better safe than sorry. And you know that favorite term I was trying to think of? Silence sometimes equates to complicity, right? Well, you knew about this, right? How come you didn't say anything? Soldier? Airman? Airman RH, wake up over there. What are you doing? You said you lost communication with one of our deployed units. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, why didn't you tell me, Airman? You lost communication. Well, sir, I was assigned a B post, and the coffee came, and I had to get my what? Okay, after this mission's over, I want you in my office ASAP. ASAP. When we release you, I want you in my office. All right, you're not going home, sir? No, I got a little bit of what do you call that? A butt chewing I have to do. Do you know what you did by not telling us? Sir, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry doesn't cut it. You see something, say something, soldier or airman, until we speak again. You see another problem like that, you better escalate it, or I'm going to have your ass. Understand? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Carry on. Yeah, things weren't that polite when I went through basic training. When I first joined the Air Force, we didn't have our little quarters where we could take time out and go and reflect on why you're so upset. We didn't have little flags that were raised up and go, oh, okay, we can't march you today. We're sorry. It's too cold outside. I'm sorry. Oh, I got. Oh, I. Where's your team at? Sir. Uh, uh, Airman. AOC. She had to go breastfeed. AOC had to go breastfeed. What? Did you call to get replacement for her, Airman? Sir, she said she'd be right back. Oh my God. Could you imagine that? You're supposed to be out there on a post, right? A sentry. Outside the perimeter. You're a rover. Conducting surveillance. Oh, you were outside the perimeter? Who gave you authorization? I did. Oh, we were protocol. We were supposed to stay in our position You wasn't pulled off of your position to go breastfeed. You did not call in to get backup or replacement while you breastfeed at AOC. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I will not let it happen again. Well, Missy, if it happens again, you won't have to worry about being sorry to me. We're going to give you your marching papers back home to your hometown. We'll give you free transportation back home. Oh, you're going to send me on vacation, sir? Yeah. You think I'm crazy, right? Ah, Mister, where were you at? Soldier, where were you? Mister, where were you? I had to go to the bathroom and get me a device out of the machine. What device did you have to go leave your post to get out of a machine in the bathroom? Are you getting prophylactic, sir? Mister, you're getting prophylactic? No, sir. No, sir. It's my time of the month, and I had to basically leave my post. This is, you're thinking that I'm talking about some type of joke, right? This is just a joke. Well, my bra was digging in, my bra strap was digging into me. And, I had to leave my post because, it was digging into me. I have to reposition myself in, uh, uh, my cantaloupes. And, carry on, soldier. We're going to reassign you to a different position. You're going to have laboratory detail. Oh, sir, you're taking me off my post? Yeah, you're going to have laboratory detail. And I'm going to inspect that laboratory every hour and ensure it's sparkling clean. You're going to have that laboratory post position, and there will be a janitor supply closet inside that laboratory, and you take everything that you need to have to keep that laboratory clean. It will be there for you. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I was assigned a laboratory detail, not because I did anything wrong. That's just the way it was. Somebody had to keep them clean. I was a laundry room detail. I did everybody's laundry. Yeah, I had that detail. I was on the kitchen detail. I peeled potatoes, literally peeled potatoes in these huge, huge pots that could feed like 200 people of potatoes, right? I had to fill those pots. Should I talk about my other details? What I'm trying to say here is whatever job you are assigned to do, if you have a problem doing your job today, escalate it up the chain of command. Say, hey, I'm having this problem, whatever. I'm having problems with feedback on my communications, whatever. I'm not getting a clear signal. The audio's not good enough. Whatever your case is, whatever you're doing, make sure you follow orders, lawful orders, and you're abiding by a proper protocol. So expect power outages, expect the networks to be overloaded, the cell towers being overloaded, whatever. Expect losing communications, expect having to get backup communications, maybe multiple backup communications. With that said, there's going to be infiltrators in all these so-called demonstrations that the mayor's office, I can't believe it. This isn't the first rodeo for the mayor's office of Washington, D.C. They should have known. They are basically overtasking their infrastructure. They should have known that before they signed all these, authorized all these permits. And we're talking about tens of thousands. I don't know if it's over 100,000, but I do know that the military and the security that we will have available is going to be overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. That's my opinion. And that's the reason why I'm glad that they basically changed the venue to indoors as far as the swearing in part, right? Don't take any unnecessary risk. That goes with everyone. Know where your weapon is at all times. Your ammunition, make sure, and nobody, you turn your back, you lay your weapon down, you turn your back, and you look back around to grab your weapon's gone. Okay? The buddy system. Have each other's backs. Have each other's backs. The most neglected communication skill is listening. Listen. After the briefing is over, you're unclear about something, ask the question so you can clear up some issues that you may have or things that you don't understand. Okay. Be best. Be best. We love our new first lady, former first lady, and our new to be first lady again. And President Trump, we love y'all. Just don't take any unnecessary risk. That's all we're saying. We understand. Nobody wants to like be hiding under their bed. Oh my God, there's this threat, there's that threat. Obviously, right? Certain things is traditional. You know, I think it was a good start holding it indoors. You know, but the last live stream I did on Rumble, you might want to check it out. I did lose audio once I'm viewing the basically the source reference pages. If I don't watch it, the audio will go basically inactivity and my live stream can shut down. So if you ever experience that on the live stream, there's dead airspace. Just fast forward to the point where I basically realized it and refreshed my live streams and got them back up running properly. So, yes, I hope this will be a very enjoyable day for everyone and everybody stay safe. You see anything out of place, please report it. Report it immediately. We're talking about backpacks, box trucks, vehicles that are basically left unattended, whatever. Report it through your chain of command, right? So, and remember, we still need everyone's prayers. Even after today, God willing, everything goes successful and everybody's safe. That continues on. That will continue on with our government. We should pray for all government, right? That they do the right thing. And it is truly law and order, right? So with that said, good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're from. Hold on a second. Let me see here something real quick. Let me pay a visit over there to Rumble. See if there's anything in chat. Okay, yeah, there's. Glad I didn't shut it down. Thank you, Trapper. Yeah. Let's see here. I have to fast forward the Rumble up to the live portion. It says we only have one person here. That's me because I'm viewing my live stream now. Let me turn up the volume here for a little bit. Okay, so this message, I put in there giant voice. People know that the giant voice is a unencrypted like broadcast that they do where they don't have to use encryption if something's immediate, like an immediate danger. It'll come out on the speaker boxes at these military facilities in the clear, right? In the clear messages, so they can be put out there immediately to basically put people in a more advanced defensive posture or whatever you call it. But anyways, with that said, this message are really going out to law enforcement, military officials that are overseeing the security of these events. There's multiple events now, and you have to be sure that these are already infiltrated. They're already infiltrated. So trust but verify, right? With that said, this ends the live stream. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're from. This concludes the live stream. Thank you, and God bless.